Ah!
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
God, that makes my head hurt. How's everybody doing
Made my
today?
heart hurt. Jeez.
Right? Oh, God, yeah, right?
Scary.
Well, no, Ladies and gentlemen, I have a bit of a migraine today. Don't get me wrong. I have an extra ear piercing that keeps them from getting as bad as they used to. I'm not blinded. My eye is not watering.
Wait,
but
that really helps? Like
it's made
having
a difference
piercing?
in my life.
Oh.
I, on a side note, words. But, it was that a friend of mine who I trusted very much, who doesn't have hers anymore because hers tended to grow out, it pulled out.
Right.
But she and her daughter commented that it had made a difference in the number she was having. And my outlook has always been whether it's, fake or not, doesn't matter as long as it works.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
As long as it works.
The people get caught up in, well, is that a placebo
really?
effect?
Well,
or I don't care.
It's the same thing as earlier I saw something that was like, oh, study shows that putting your hands on your knees makes you breathe better or whatever the heck.
That's true, by the way.
I believe it, but
They were wrong.
I also know that
That it made okay. But
either way,
you're not getting
as
it.
long as I felt better, it didn't matter.
Right. Well, and my theory on all of that is, we hadn't studied that yet.
Right.
So when you put hands over your head, it's better than not.
Right.
That was the study.
Yes.
And it was.
Right.
But then somebody said,
But
well,
then
what
someone
about
said,
this?
what about hands on knees? Right.
I've been trying to convince people of the opposite sex that the best way to breathe is knees on floor, but it doesn't. Something falls apart in the breathing aspect of that study.
Yeah,
I don't know. God, that was just wrong on many levels. God, I am so sorry, folks. I have a headache, I swear. I'm sorry for starting off the day with oral humor.
Matt Unleashed.
Well, so a brief discussion on how we come up with topics.
Okay.
Now that we've covered what we know.
We don't know. That's the long and the short of it.
But that's not so totally true. That there is a process.
Yeah, there's a process.
Every once in a while there'd be shows we know the day before.
Yes.
That happens every oh, I know what tomorrow's show is.
Right.
In general, we have a meeting at about 11. Calling it a meeting. We stumble
into something. We'll have a conversation, and then usually there's a topic that we'll stumble into.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
We find our words.
We find our words.
In case you're wondering why today's topic is
words.
So if you ever to buy a copy of my book, Zen and the Art of
Madness.
God,
Madness.
I've gone absolutely crazy. The pink pages, Zen and the Art of Madness.
Okay.
That I was trying to write a really cool forward, and I just didn't have it. And so it's got this neat picture, and it goes words, and it says more really good words here, and it says some more words.
Right.
Oh, some words that really impress you. I have bought into before the humor of sometimes the words not being there has meaning in its own right.
How did you choose to organize the book? Is it chronologically?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the book is not. The book is my journal.
Okay.
For those of you wondering if Ross has bought or read the book.
No, I haven't.
I am not wondering.
I think it'll be more meaningful. It'll be more meaningful to me when
I'm dead, say it.
Yes.
When I'm dead.
Yes.
When I'm dead.
It sounds messed up, but it's a thought in my head.
Do you know how many royalties I will see off you buying my book when I am dead?
Okay, I'll at least buy the book.
Ought.
I'll at least buy it.
It's a full $2.99, folks. $2, not $299 for my book.
No.
My ego is not that big. The funny thing is that I kind of have come to the conclusion that part of the problem I have is that I
lowered the value.
Because I would have given it away.
Right.
I've given away more copies than I've sold. That as much as we can value words, we
Right.
can overvalue words.
Right. We really can. I think it's a bit odd that every book is like $15 to $20. That's a bit.
Well,
it's a bit
digital
much.
downloads.
Well, yeah.
I couldn't charge people $15 for my book that wasn't available on paper. I just couldn't.
Yeah, it seems a bit much.
That the idea, all those words, but I get stuck in concepts of right work,
Mhm.
in sharing my experience, not claiming my experience is somehow something special I'm charging you for,
Mhm.
because my experience isn't any more valuable than yours.
I think in words you find lines, and you find that sometimes things can
Sorry for the
morally
yawning. It's part of the headache.
sometimes things can morally be like hard to deal with, and it can be it can be difficult to figure out ways to make money if you don't like money, and if you are not a fan of it. I'm not really a fan of money because I don't care that much. Like I care.
Mm.
Yes, that's true, but
Someone should.
I don't care enough to like obsess and let it completely ruin my life or completely
Right.
like stick in my brain. Like, which is probably why I'm broke still. But you know, that's okay.
Truth. Man. That. I'd love it if you wanted to go read my book. I'd love it if you wanted to come here and listen to us.
Right.
It feels great when everybody goes, "Oh my God, you got to figure out how to sell this," in the sense that they see value in what I'm doing.
Right.
It doesn't make me go, "Oh, I hope I can make money off of this." Like later today, we'll have musicians in, and you'll be hanging out making music. I don't feel attachment to that as something other than another piece of us telling stories. That when I think about if it's successful enough that there is somebody successful enough that they go, you know, that's worth investing in. That's worth putting the money behind. This is a non-profit I believe in. Then
Right.
fine, support us. Don't support us with the hope of telling us why,
Right.
or telling us, well, yeah, but now you got to do it this way.
Right.
We're not set up that way. I'm not planning on ever. I don't want. It's why I'm so slow to accept anything like even sponsorship.
Right.
Because then there's an attachment there. Are you going to say what they need you to say so you can get that money? Because you
Right.
need that money.
You gotta shill and plug and stuff like that.
And for me,
Right.
this is not a judgment on anybody else's stuff. That's the hard part. It's like, oh, he thinks he's better than everybody else. No. That's why I think I should share as much as I can without that thought.
If we did start doing sponsors, what I would probably end up doing is like somewhere halfway through the episode, I'd find a spot.
No,
and I'd
it's
just
never going to
record a
happen.
video or
No,
something.
you need to understand it's never going to happen.
Right.
No, it's not like if.
No, I
There's no
understand.
if involved. No, you still have an if in your head.
Okay.
Please get it out.
Okay.
The shows that are there going to be other shows? Okay. Do I mind if you and other people are actively on the platform in a way that there are sponsors for you guys and some of that percentage rolls back to the platform? I'm okay with that. I don't want a dime near me. None. There's not going to come a point where the if finally sits with me. There just
Well,
isn't.
the thought for me is that it's not for me.
I understand that.
That's the thought.
But
Is
no,
that it's not
no.
my money.
But yeah, no, I have no. Not gonna happen. Never.
Okay.
It's not like we're doing, for the record, relative to the 24 hours available for this platform, it's not like we're filling the space.
Right.
It's not like you're incapable of putting together a music show that you do stuff like that and get sponsors from.
Right.
No one's ever held you back. But when it comes to sharing and stories and really an open space isn't open the second you start attaching money around it.
Well, part of it is I need other people to do a music show. I can't do it by myself.
Okay. You have that's a weird thing to say relative to our situation.
Well, every time I've tried to set up a date and a time to do it, or like just.
You've literally done music shows where you had people on and played music and talked to them about it.
Well, that's not what I meant. I meant the other kind where it's people live and stuff. That's what I meant.
Okay. But you're right. It's gonna take work. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, well, it didn't just happen magically. No, it's not going to.
I get that.
It takes. Do I think those people exist and we're already talking to a bunch of them? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
There are a million guys that want to do that with you. It's figuring a time and sticking to it, setting it in the middle of the day like, here's where we do this, and then they show up.
Right.
You've seen this work.
Right.
It's hard, but you don't want to set the anchor because then you can't move it. And so you've avoided setting any kind of anchor that anybody else could attach to.
I have a hard time with trusting other people to stick to that anchor. I'm not so much.
You've never set one.
Well,
how would you know? I offered 16 hours a week.
Right.
We didn't use it.
Right.
It wasn't because I didn't make the time available.
Right.
It was whether or not people were actively going, hey, we're doing this. This is what we do every week. Hey, you're welcome to come. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was the big moment if you were trying to get people in the studio. There was an open invitation.
Right.
We ignored it. That in general, what's happened is, that to some extent, it's a learning exercise. It's you figuring out how you have some independence in the studio. Because you do. You were scheduling the hell out of it and then backed off.
I'll say that I have a hard time with the words and figuring out what people need to be like.
You know how you get better at words?
Use them, yes.
That's
Yes,
everybody will look at me and go, well,
Use
but
them.
I'm not as good at the words. Like, okay, go practice. What? It took getting beat up by people that could say things faster than me with words. I can't just look at you. Here's how you do it.
Right.
I can say over and over again what you do is do it. And you get out of your head about what's the right thing to say, and what you do is you speak from your heart. That's the answer. It isn't that you don't know words. You're amazing with words. You actually make a living off of words. And I'm not even referring to here, where you clam up.
Mm.
You freestyle, dude. No amount of I don't understand words comes across as relevant.
I don't understand words. That's not what I'm saying.
You're
saying
in your head
socially,
about whether
I'm not
you're
as
in your
good
head
at
about
it.
no. You're in your head about whether or not you have the right words instead of just using your words.
Yes.
That's not the same. That's not the same.
Okay.
That doesn't define it as not having the words.
Right, I got you.
That you're looking at the wrong part for what do I need to overcome. No, it's the same thing you always need to overcome. It's you. Same here. It's not a judgment. This is a reality of life that most people don't want to hear. You want to understand what's in your way right now and what's slowing you down, go look in a mirror. Claiming you don't have the words to talk to people is a lie because you literally communicate for a living. That's how your brain works.
I don't mean to say that I don't have the words. I just mean that I'm not
comfortable
used to
in
the
them.
skill of specifically getting people to do a thing together.
But then I realize that's not true either because then I look at the schedule for the month of June. And I know who did that.
Barely.
No.
Barely.
No, okay. That's
I'm
not
telling
true.
you, barely.
No, I know how much was scheduled and I know what you're giving. You're literally taking.
I know how much information was left out. I know how much information I didn't get because of the fact that I didn't
what
think
I
to
know
ask, or because I didn't.
You're not giving yourself credit because it makes the other excuse better.
Okay.
And if you don't give yourself credit for June, you don't have to deal with the fact that, no, you're pretty good at that.
Okay.
but I was there.
Okay.
Your words are more powerful than you give yourself credit. I've heard your songs. I sit here when the cameras aren't on and talk to you. These are all abilities you have, not just abilities I have.
I guess I really get in my head about it.
Yes.
Like really.
That's
really
where it
get
gets
in my
lost.
head
But
about
you
it.
need to, that's the spot. It's not any of the other spots you've pointed at to blame. Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
This is not, for those of you going, oh man, he's hard on him. No, 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 no. I'm pointing out something that's so human that you're dealing with it right now. That 9 times out of 10, the reason we don't know where the lines are, the reason we're tripping over everybody else's lines and they're all pissed off, is that they were unwilling to communicate where those lines were until they were angry about the fact they had been crossed.
Right.
So what happened is not that people couldn't communicate. They could have. They could have. We don't. And then we come up with a variety of excuses and reasons why it's everybody else's fault.
Mhm.
Like somehow those lines we never told anybody about are supposed to be real.
Right.
That we come up with why here, 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 and here, and here, and here, and this is, well, the problem is I don't have this piece, or I don't have that piece, or I don't. You have all the pieces. We have all the pieces. You have all the pieces. You have all the pieces. I have all the pieces. Did you work on them? Well, but I didn't like it. It was work. If the 9-year-old has taught me anything,
Mhm.
the only list of things you can't do are the list of things you've decided to use as an excuse. That if you put effort into something, you will learn how to do it better.
Right. That makes sense.
That I think part of the problem is you're very attached to the idea of the people here locally.
Okay.
And you have stronger communication relationships with people outside of that group, but are at the same time holding off and going, I can't do a music show because I can't count on these people to come in, even though there are people. They just
Right.
aren't where you want them to be.
Right.
You know, or a fear of, if I do this with other people, the people here will feel like I've turned on them. Why are they not more important? Which is a possibility based on those relationships.
That's not what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about that.
Because I'm trying to figure out, there's a
that-
hold off
yeah,
on doing
anything.
anything.
Yes.
What about additional music shows with the people that, is Chris Bain still up on Spotify? You don't even know, do you?
He is. He's got to be. They haven't
Based-
sent me anything about taking
So you're
it down.
checking every day and it's up.
I can check right
No,
this second.
don't check right. We're in the middle of a show.
It takes 2 seconds.
But I understood.
Yeah.
That was my thought. Why are we doing it in the middle of the show? Why hasn't it happened?
I don't check every day.
Well, but
That's
that's
why.
why are we checking that one so hard?
To make sure that they stay up.
Why is that?
To make sure that they don't get claimed.
But why is it important for us to be watching that specific one? What is it up there for?
Music.
Okay. Is it a test balloon to see whether or not it stays up?
Yes. I mean, it's been up there for weeks. It's not like
I understand the reason.
I haven't uploaded anything, and that's a problem. I need to get back to my uploads.
You haven't uploaded anything to what?
I haven't uploaded
didn't
any
Know
I have-
that. Go ahead.
to YouTube. That's why I was doing YouTube uploads
You were
yesterday.
doing YouTube yesterday.
Yes, that's why I was doing some of that yesterday. I was doing. I didn't get a chance to get back to the Spotify uploads. I got to get back to
Where
that.
are we at on 10 questions on Spotify and YouTube, being that we've built a huge following that wants to hear those?
We're up to Memorial Day. I want to say no, a little past that.
Okay, so we're actually at
past
Memorial Day, which is where we were at when you last said it. A few weeks ago.
No.
You were really proud of the fact you were past Memorial
We're
Day. I
at-
remember when
We're at. I want to say Chris Baines.
Okay, that's the one after. That's the same as Memorial Day. Never mind.
Chris Baines and MZZ. There's 2 of them up there, yes. But Memorial Day took me a second. It took me a whole day to get there.
Okay, I understand a day.
It
A day would have made sense. I don't know if you checked a calendar
No,
recently.
I'm saying it took me a day to get there, and now I have to get back.
None of that
now I
makes
have to
sense
get
relative
back
to the
it.
amount of time. You keep saying a day like that's
I have to
meaningful
get
in a
back
month
to
and
it.
a half.
I haven't been working on it. I haven't. That's
Okay,
my my problem.
Why are you?
It's
You brought up that you hadn't done anything, and then now you're raising your voice at me as I'm just
I'm not
sitting over
trying to
here quietly.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to raise my voice.
This
to
is
you.
the point I've tried to make, is that if I ask people questions, their reactions aren't about me asking the question. It's about how they feel about it.
Okay.
That oh, so what's the point of putting on another show if we can't get them out? No,
I don't.
It's an honest
I
question.
don't know. I don't know what's the point. We're on.
So the original plan was we were doing a ton of music interviews, and then you were rescheduling each one for a music show.
I haven't scheduled more music shows because I haven't uploaded the music shows we did.
Oh,
or
you
the,
can't do
the
that.
stuff we did.
Oh, you can't do that. No, you can't screw us and then screw us twice. Because we still have to have
Okay.
content. We can't not have
Okay.
content because you're not uploading stuff.
Okay.
How can we? But do you see what'll happen?
Yes.
The entire thing grinds to a halt, falls apart, and
Well,
dies.
I can't do both.
It kills.
I can't keep doing both because the scheduling takes time. Hold on. The scheduling takes time.
I can't buy into
The
any of
uploading
this.
takes time. I can't keep doing both. I need someone else to do one of those. I'm telling you what I need right now. I need someone else to do one of those so that
Based
I can
on the
focus.
time you're
so that
spending?
I can so that I can focus
Based on what time you're spending. You weren't uploading anything. How are you blaming that?
Well, I'm
You
saying
just admitted you weren't uploading anything and then used that as the excuse. How do you blame the time crunch on the fact that there's nothing scheduled and you weren't uploading?
I'm saying
No, you're saying a lie.
I need help.
I understand needing help, but okay, but how does that relate to what you were
I'm
saying
trying
in
to
actual
convey
time?
that I need
live
help.
here.
I feel overwhelmed, so I don't do
With
either.
which part?
When I feel overwhelmed, I don't do either. It's
Okay,
not. It's a
that's
problem.
right,
It's
it's-
a problem.
Yeah, but you're not actually overwhelmed is the problem.
I am overwhelmed.
By what? You
By
weren't
doing
no,
both.
you're not doing either.
There was a time when I was doing both, and I felt overwhelmed by it. I felt like I was constantly working,
That was
and
when
I
you were
needed.
the most up and we were having great shows and you weren't doing this.
Okay.
No, you were actively a part of what we were doing. I remember. I get where you're talking about. I was so proud. You were so proud. We were talking regularly. You
Yes.
were very.
I
And
was
now
still-
you're using it as the excuse.
I was still overwhelmed by that. I may have been active, and I may have been present, but I was feeling overwhelmed.
Ladies and gentlemen, obviously this is a combination of things that he's springing on me mid-show.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to keep up. None of it fits the reality I've seen.
I didn't mean it.
It seems rather crass, though, for me to suggest that. I don't want to take away from anybody else's experience or feelings. Please understand that no matter how much of it there was, this has been the same discussion from the very beginning, and no matter what, that was the reason. It was always a reason outside of you.
Well, I was overwhelmed by the uploading in the beginning, and that was on me. That was my fault. I wasn't.
I don't.
And then
Here's
and
the
then I
problem.
stepped.
When the
I
little
s-
boy cries wolf every time, eventually I
Okay.
don't see wolves anymore.
All right. All right.
I'm trying to help,
All right.
but it's hard to go. Wait a minute. There's always been another excuse.
Fine.
No,
It's fine. It's fine.
I-
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Wow, you're doing a really hateful thing. I appreciate
No, I'm not
that.
trying to do a hateful
You
thing.
are.
I
You're
have to
acting like
figure
I'm
it
not
out.
hearing you.
I have
I'm
to
literally
figure it out,
sitting
don't
here-
I?
I'm literally sitting here going, I hear you, and I'm listening to you. And I was trying to explain what my first reaction was.
Okay.
Because it was based on everything you've done
Okay.
and how it's come back to me every time.
Okay.
Okay? Based on the fact you go, oh my God, I've been working on uploading every day. I've been working on uploading day. The problem is I'm overwhelmed by uploading and nothing's uploaded. So that just blows that out of the water every time.
Okay.
Like, okay, wait a minute. My excuse is I was doing this, but then it always ends up you go, okay, wait a minute. Nobody was doing that.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And if I look back right now, I see that.
I get the problem.
You're blaming that
I get the
and
problem.
not doing that at the same time.
Yes.
So I don't think you have any real honest understanding of what time it would take, because
I'll figure it out.
no,
I have to sit down and do it.
No, because the problem is every time you sat down, you go, "Oh, this only takes 2 seconds, and it doesn't take me any time." Unless I get in my head about working on some other piece, traditionally something that has nothing to do with the shows.
Okay.
Has been my personal experience. As we go through it, what we would find is months of, this is the problem, this is the problem, this is the problem, this is the problem. And then somebody would get a hold of me and go, I can't find any of the content. And then you would break down and scream at me about how overwhelmed you were. And that was why nothing happened. Yeah?
Yeah.
Have we done this every month for 6 months?
Yes.
Has it ever mattered how much there was actually to work on? Or has it been the same complaint no matter what?
Yes.
So I don't know what to do with it. It doesn't sound like something you've dealt with.
I know what to do with it.
Then I'm trying here. I'm trying to bring together a group of people to get us more help. I'm actively working on that. You know that. Now, you tried to portray a picture on air, though, of the idea that I wasn't.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to be sorry.
No, I am sorry because I'm being a dickhead
I've
right
got
now.
a list of people. You've got a guy that you thought was going to help that you haven't pursued at all. That you literally gave him access, but then don't go, hey, have you looked at that?
Well, he said he doesn't have a computer, so I have to figure that out.
So when was that ever a real conversation then?
It was a real conversation when I thought he had a computer.
There's a laptop sitting in the middle of their living room. Or at least there was. They were on it.
We'll talk about that later.
None of it really matters. The point being, I actively listen to you, and then you will beat me up on the air like what's going on is I don't care. That you'll communicate that I'm having trouble with my words, so I'll fill space to later get beat up for talking too much. That you'll wait till we're on the air to go, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed, as we're literally working on putting together a group of people to help with those very things.
Okay.
As you're giving the same exact reasons and excuses as when there was nothing to upload, as when there is more to upload. And you're announcing that the problem is it took you a whole day to do Memorial Day, which was over a month and a half ago. Like somehow if Memorial Day, 24 hours of shows, had taken you a day, excuse me, sorry, that was just a misspeak, not
It didn't take me an hour.
No, that's what
Yeah.
I just said. I said that on accident.
Sorry.
So I appreciate you
Sorry.
rebuttaling
Sorry.
something that wasn't even a thought. It was just my brain doesn't always
Sorry.
work right. Dementia, folks. That's why I'm trying to get this in line before I lose it all. If Memorial Day took you a day, 24 shows. Okay. If we extend that out to how many shows are between Memorial Day and here, you have less than 3 days worth of work based on Memorial Day taking a day. Extrapolation.
Okay.
Now, based on what you've always told me about how long it takes to upload when you're not doing this part, when you admit that it only takes you a few minutes, it takes a couple seconds. You say that often if you're in a good place, as
On
opposed to
YouTube.
this place.
On YouTube, it's different.
Okay, you're right, because then it literally takes seconds per episode because you push a button that uploads them all. I was giving you
Yes.
some time on Spotify.
Okay.
Based on your facts, based on what you've told me. Because it's not fair for me to be out here in public and what happens is the drama of the victim.
I need to learn how not to do that.
But, I went through it last night with a young 9-year-old where I had to go, okay, I see what you're doing there. Every time somebody tells you you don't want to hear, You're overwhelmed and nobody understands you. You know? Well, I'm overwhelmed. Nobody understands me.
Part of it is I feel trapped in that. It's not about some. The problem is sometimes the way that I feel is not based on reality. And that's a problem. And it shouldn't be your problem.
No, it is my problem because I love you. And for the record, the show about not putting on a show is that we try to figure this stuff out. We do. We're human. We're
painfully so.
Neurally diverse, as we... that I see a world full of people acting like they're victims. And then people go, well, you do that. And I'm like, sometimes, no, I try to make sure I couch it in confusion. I don't understand what just happened. Not I'm a victim, but that I don't understand the perspective that caused that.
Okay.
That it feels foreign to me. Like, okay, wait a minute. No, my thought is if you have a job, you don't get to just leave to go do the things you want. Okay. I don't understand seeing it from the other. I'm trying to I'm like, okay, what am I not understanding about this behavior? Because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, oh, I'm the endless victim of all of this behavior. I talk often of people's perspective, even people are like, oh, God, they were kind of jerks to you. And then I go, no, I want to talk to you more, don't I?
Right.
I've made it a rule that anybody I disagree with on the internets,
you have to...
my friend request.
Yeah. Right.
I want to see from that perspective.
Right.
As we've struggled with this for 6 months consistently, everybody from me to any other person you've ever talked to has suggested that if you started actually trying to schedule something, you may find that you have a lot of time available. And every time you have tried it, that is what you have found. The lack of a schedule is killing both of us. Neither of us are very good at it. But I will tell you that it doesn't take you very much time. But the amount of hours per day you put into worrying about it that you count as work aren't. That's not time you used up. This time you didn't use. I have lots of that time, for the record. I'm not, but I know for a fact that the reality is, if you go, okay, I get up every morning at 10. What I do is uploads till we do the show. Then your mind's on the show. And you're done for the day when you're done with the show. If you put 2 hours into it a day, you would have been done months ago and be trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do with these 2 hours now? 3 days a week.
Right.
There's only 5 or 6 shows a week, bro. I mean, it's not like... So if you did if it took an hour per show, 2 hours on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday would cover it. But you're feeling like, because none of it's organized, and there's always something else you wish you were doing more. And that's the real key right there. It's that, but I wish I was doing this. You're not doing that either, though. You're just sitting there wishing both ways and blaming one for the other.
Right.
But not doing it.
Right.
Not getting it out of your way. You're just using it as the excuse. Am I that far off?
No.
That I'm bad at it too. I'm not.
You're not. No, it's not.
Yeah, that people are like,
You're not
oh,
that
he's,
far.
and I'm like,
No.
no. I have this problem too.
No, you're not. It's not. It's not a negative thing. I'm kind of just taking it in.
That
I'm not.
It's like the idea of play.
Yeah.
When we get to that question, when I ask people how do they play, they all fall apart. Not all, and all's a bit much, but there's no time that they've made in their life where they feel like they're important enough to do that, because you're not scheduling the part you want to do either.
Right.
because you feel guilty for that. What if you scheduled an hour for an hour? What if you said, you know what, if I put an hour into this, I get an hour of that? What if you rewarded yourself?
Right.
What if it was enough that you could, okay, I'm telling you, I bet that 6 hours a week that I just came up with, which is totally off the cuff. I didn't have that thought before this. If anybody, he's been thinking all along, if I just know that out of 3 days a week, and I bet Monday and Friday wouldn't drive you crazy, and you can do whatever you wanted.
Yeah. I bet.
I mean, you were up. I mean, today Matt's got a migraine. He's an asshole. The lights have been... For the record, these lights are fucking killing me. Did I technically say it? No, I don't think so.
I don't think it hurt you.
No, it kind of... And an ing at the end, but I...
Yeah. You kind of...
I said it like that.
You skipped it.
I did.
Yeah.
I took the out of the middle.
And
I took the UC.
Yeah, you took the...
I left the F in the king, baby!
The F in the king. That's a good way to say that. I like that. That's a nice play on words right there. I like that.
Well, I like words. I had somebody, I have a very wise friend that is sometimes kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent him a bit of poetry, I suppose. It wasn't meant as poetry, but I was trying to describe how I visualized my buddy Thayer, and I said, you know what, never... What was it? Never take away from the standing rock in the bay, enjoying the waves, and laughing at the sunny day. Always be thankful when it holds back the storm. So when you think of the rocks at the entrance to a bay,
okay,
on an average day, they just are there, like teeth rising up like a smile.
Right.
The beauty and the wonder of the ocean. But they are the very thing, those quiet rocks, unmoving, that when the storm comes, hold it back. And my buddy's like that. It's when the words come out, there's so much wisdom.
Right.
But so often you look over and you know what? He's a basking water monitor on the side of the rocks, if anything. But that's power. Like words. I don't doubt your value. You do. I doubt my value.
I doubt my value all the time.
I know.
Yep.
And then you build little traps for yourself to fall into, and self-flagellation, and beat yourself. And he's 19. He beats himself a lot.
Oh my God.
Well, you know what? It's hard not to live with a 19-year-old male and not make 19-year-old male jokes. Just so you know. God, 19.
Funniest part is I haven't even been doing that.
Okay, I don't. See, and here's the funny thing.
I don't do that anymore.
It's just a throwaway.
I don't really do that anymore.
Please, for the record, it's a throwaway joke. Just like.
No, it's funny. It's funny.
Okay, I'm glad. Da la da 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 la 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 la. La 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 la.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
Oh jeez. Well, but that we're both scheduling in general, and really we joke about it relative to scheduling human beings for us, but really it's the place we hit the
wall.
Bump. The wall is us scheduling us.
Yes.
You scheduling you, me scheduling me, we scheduling we, me scheduling a we. Anyways, some days, if they get tight enough, me scheduling a we becomes an issue. Like, I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, we had an appearance yesterday on a beautiful playcast. Not a podcast, a playcast.
A playcast.
Passion is the gateway drug.
Mm-hmm.
It was what a beautiful time with Hillary and Brett.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
It was interesting to have somebody ask us questions for a change. Not that Matt leaves much room for that.
It was
but,
a change of pace. Yeah.
Right?
It was something different. I'm not used to being on this side of
Do you
things.
feel good about changing medicine as we know it?
I was like, whoa. Changing medicine.
Listen here, Bunny. Somebody loves you. Brown and fluffy, ears like antenna.
I said peeps.
Somebody loves you.
I said peeps when she said,
You did.
what's your association to bunnies?
Peeps. Literally named after the sound baby chickens make.
Dude. I guess I just associated with Easter and bunnies.
That's okay.
I get it. It's tangential as hell, but it.
Is fairy like a prairie but more magical?
That one I pulled out of my ass. That one.
Is that where the fairies are? Traditionally, yes.
Traditionally, yes. That's where the fairies reside.
Oh. We struggle with words just like you. We are you. Please, Spock. No.
Please, Spock.
Join me
Yes.
in saving.
The universe.
No, just the words. But meanwhile, words, they're a lie too.
Yeah.
Nothing you describe with them can't help but, bypass and be more meaningful than mere words. And we're better. The funny thing is, relative to scheduling, we're better at it than we were.
Yeah.
As far as, I don't think you give yourself enough credit for what you have done or what you can do.
I don't think so either.
That there are days where I'll be like, wait a minute. When I see you focused on that, it's like, that it feels like the thing slowing you down tends to be, and not just this particular thing, but the getting in your head more than the thing.
Yes, that's very true.
That is actually what happens to both of us in this space. We spend a lot of time in our head.
Yeah.
It's come up with this, though. Maybe you don't give your head enough credit. Do you give Matt's head all the credit?
No, but
nobody gives me no respect.
No, I give you a lot of credit for the idea.
No. I don't mean that. I don't mean that.
You're very valuable.
Stop. We're looking for where do you give you credit?
Where do
I
I
was
give
just
me
teasing
credit?
when we got to me.
Well, as far as credit goes, I would say that I don't give myself much credit because I feel like I could do better. I limit the amount of credit that I give myself.
Okay, let's look at where we've been as opposed to your measuring stuff you haven't seen.
Right.
Do you think Matt... Hi, I'm Matt. I'll be playing the part of Matt today in this metaphor. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Do you think I could do this without you?
No.
I know that. Do you know that?
Not always.
What got us through June?
Me? Partially. I'll say partially.
But rolling my corpse out to show up for shows as I'm melting down and making sure it's all scheduled sounds like you might get more credit.
Well, no, I think the shows aren't what they are without the both of us, but more so you. I think that you... I know that this is about giving me credit. Can you tell that I'm good at deflection?
That's why I'm so good at this episode, because I'm just going, no, let's talk about you.
No, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you.
I don't have to take credit for anything then.
I've come to realize that you are able to gel the people together. You're very good at gluing people together, and I feel a better connection to people when you're more involved than when it's just me and the person. I'm not. It's something about the way we do things. Like, I'm not as skilled as I need to be yet at connecting with people together.
And not as a, oh, your feelings are wrong, because your feelings aren't wrong, but I can point out to you, graphically, I don't know, the word's not coming. That words today, no, really is about Matt's words are not. Yeah, you rely on them for a change. That when we first started doing more music interviews, we were both excited, and you were excited about doing some shows where it was just you, and did amazing shows. I stepped on your toes a little bit from behind the curtain then, but that when it was suddenly put in front of you, it scared the crap out of you, and you locked up instead of it was a choice.
Part of the reason I was so comfortable was because when there's a connection and the three of us are there together,
right,
with the person, it feels like, okay, I can take control a little bit more. I can balance this. If I just like, once we get to the next show, I feel like I'll be able to balance it because I know this person pretty well. I know you, obviously. And I feel like I can balance things together a little bit better. That's why I feel like the music show...
But what if you were doing a show where you had to sit in this seat and there was someone else there?
I don't know yet. I mean, maybe. I think I have the ability to run a show.
I know you. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think that's true. I just don't always trust myself, I think. I don't always, and when I'm put in a situation where I don't trust myself, I'm not exactly the best at overcoming that.
Well, it's almost like it becomes the weight that drags you down, even though it wasn't necessarily even true that you didn't have the ability.
Yes.
So do you think that that's relative to the original stuff we were talking about? That it's not a lack of time or ability to upload or schedule or feel those things. It's that you're not going, hey, I set aside an hour a day where I get to go occupy this musical world where I go and I'm present in it and I get to go meet people I'm interested in, and some of them I go, hey, you want to come on the show?
Right.
That sounds like an hour of fun, though, doesn't it?
Right. Well, I think
figuring out how to make it.
So much of it is I need to tear down the wall I've built up in my head about the things that I need to do, and a lot of that is tear down the wall.
No, you gotta keep talking if I'm gonna do tear down the wall.
A lot of that is I keep thinking that everything that I do, like each time I get to a new thing, I keep thinking that it's gonna be just as hard as the first time that I did it, or it's gonna be so difficult, you know?
I hadn't even thought about that aspect. So that this big pile of things in front of you isn't even really a big pile to you anymore, but you're still calling it a big pile?
Yes.
Sort of?
Yes.
That, okay, I've gotten good at this. It really doesn't take me that long.
It doesn't take me that long when I sit down and do it. I've just built up this expectation in my head that it's this big thing.
I have a question. And this is, once again, everybody, I just got questions. Is it possible that those are the things that protect you, not from doing those things, but that so that you have a reason to go, I didn't do these things over here I wanted to do? So that if you're having problems accessing the music, or having trouble feeling good about that, or having trouble doing that,
right, this
stack over here isn't even really about being a real stack anymore, like you were saying. Because you look at it and go, well, actually.
No. I would say no.
Would say, well, but do you follow me?
It's a guard for me doing things that I don't necessarily like. I would say it's more of that.
Well, but you're using it to stop your creative side.
Well,
Consistent,
don't think-
but you've always
I
used
don't
it that
think
way.
I don't think it stopped my creative side as much as I give.
As much as you claim.
Yes,
Okay,
that's true. I think
I knew that too.
But
But at the same time, it was trying to understand that interplay of our perspective works on making things fit our perspective.
Mhm.
That's what our brain does for a living.
Right.
You know, makes it so that when pink bunnies go hopping by, you make them a real color as opposed to realizing there are pink bunnies. Get down that rabbit hole, why don't you? I would, but I'm already late. I gotta go, guys. Shh. Don't talk about pink bunnies.
Don't talk about pink bunny.
Shh.
Oh, sorry.
As bad as the squirrels. We had to use squirrels in the cartoon, so we didn't know about the pink bunnies. I'm just saying. Pink bunnies. Echo Hayes. Rock on! Words.
Words.
The show about figuring stuff out. See you on Tuesday. I promise I'll come up with a fun. We'll have a topic on. We'll have a topic on Tuesday. I promise. We had a topic today.
Yeah, we did.
Our topic was the lack thereof.
Yes.
We might have done that show 2 days in a row.
Yep.
The last one we at least invested in. Where's the line? It looks like we're off the air, but we're not. Watch. There we are. We're back again.
Back again.